A key component of the modern world economy, the chemical industry delivers products and innovations to enhance everyday life. It is also an industry in transformation, where chemical executives and workers are delivering growth and industry-changing advancements while responding to pressures from investors, regulators, and public opinion. Discover how leading companies are approaching these challenges here on The Chemical Show. Join Victoria Meyer, president of Progressio Global and host of The Chemical Show, as she speaks with executives across the industry and learns how they are leading their companies to grow, transform, and push industry boundaries on all frontiers. Here's your host, Victoria Meyer.
This episode is sponsored by Net at Work, a premier technology consultant and solutions provider that specializes in next-generation chemical ERP, CRM, HR, e-commerce, and related business management applications. For 2 decades, their team has been helping companies unleash the power of their business through the transformative use of technology. Visit netatwork.com to learn more, and be sure to visit their team at the Specialty Agro and Chemicals America event, June 28th through 30th at booth 307. Hey gang, this is Victoria. I just wanted to let you know about a community that we've built specifically for the chemical industry and listeners of The Chemical Show. It's called The Chemical Community. A pretty direct name, right? The Chemical Community is a web-based community accessed right from your desktop or smartphone, built specifically to increase engagement between you and your peers in the chemical industry. One of the reasons I built The Chemical Show and now The Chemical Community is to create greater connection across members of the industry, to share stories, gain insights, to know more and to do more for each other and for our industry. When you join the chemical community, you become part of something bigger. Members of the chemical community share insights about trends and topics in the chemical industry, get early access to podcast guests, participate in special events exclusive to the community, get event replays, and much more. I go live in the community twice a month to engage members and facilitate dialogue across the group. This community is growing and evolving based on what you want and need. As one of our members, Dennis, has said, learning what's top of mind for other companies and industries generates the opportunity for new insights that I can apply to my own business. Thanks, Dennis. And as we all know, insights drive innovation, drive value. So, want to be part of the chemical community? Just head on over to thechemicalcommunity.com. The link is also in the show notes. Head on over there to sign up and start building a closer connection with your peers in the chemical industry. Thanks, and I'll see you there. Hi, this is Victoria Meyer. On this week's episode, I am doing something a little bit different. I'm talking with several board members of the Chemical Education Foundation about the importance of chemistry education, STEM education, and then how they got involved in CEF. These interviews were recorded live at the You Be the Chemist Competition finals, which were held on June 6th in Houston. So you may not know a lot about CEF or about You Be the Chemist competition, and that's a bit of why we're doing this episode. And one of the reasons I'm shining a light on CEF and You Be the Chemist is that it really fills a critical role in our industry. Right? One, we need to be good ambassadors for the chemical industry. We need to understand how to talk and engage our family, our friends, our community about chemistry, chemicals, the industry, and the impact it has. You guys have heard me say this before. I don't think we always do a good job of that, right? So we don't do a great job of selling benefits as opposed to features. I know certainly, my kids get a lot more influence about environmentalism than they do about chemistry as they go on and about on their daily business. So I think there's an opportunity for all of us to start engaging students and start engaging the community a little bit more. And that's one of the things that CEF does. The other thing is that we really need to be introducing our students from a young age about chemistry, the role it plays, and the opportunities and pathways for the future. And that is really the heart of CEF's mission and vision. So the Chemical Education Foundation was formed in 1989 by the National Association of Chemical Distributors. It has since somewhat separated from them, and it's a standalone entity, although it still has a connection to NACD. And really, the mission of CEF is to inspire students to be innovators and STEM leaders, building a better world through the science of chemistry. Its focus is on STEM education and chemistry education, and in particular, elementary students. So those students that are in kindergarten through 8th grade, and their teachers and the people that are influencing and educating them and helping them open their eyes a bit more to the power of chemistry and what it can do. So the You Be the Chemist program is a program to connect both business and educators in communities to reach students early in life, right? And we know that the earlier a student gets engaged and exposed to chemistry and STEM and computing and science and all those great things, they are more likely to ignite a passion and an understanding and to continue to pursue that. And that's really where You Be the Chemist fits in. As a program, it's got 3 missions. 1 is to engage educators, 2 is to inspire students, and 3 is to strengthen communities. So I had the opportunity of attending the finals and the final competition for the You Be the Chemist competition. So this is a competition that's been around for 30 years. It is focused again on younger students. So in this case, it's middle schoolers, grades 5th through 8th, and students around the country compete on topics related to chemicals. And so it's evolved over the past couple of years. In fact, we're going to hear from one of the educators who had a big role in redesigning and transforming the competition. This year's competition engaged 9,000 students across the US. They learned, they answered questions, they developed and submitted a video. What was kind of really tied it all very well together. A lot of it was around space and chemistry in space and space exploration. So that was pretty cool. Univar, one of the title sponsors, was really actively engaged in the competition and in reviewing videos. So students had to answer, these student teams answered 40 questions and they submitted a 3 to 5 minute video on their topic. Over 1,500 hours of video were reviewed. 5 finalist teams were invited to Houston to compete. And then on the day of the big event, with a lot of excitement, a winning team of 5th through 8th graders from Massachusetts won. And just tell you, I was there for that. They were so excited. This is a group of really sharp kids, and our future's in a great place if we have young chemists looking to join us, such as these guys are. So I'm going to turn this over to the interview process, and you're going to get some introductions. I've got Calvin Emanuel, who you guys have heard before, Terry Hill, who's the CEO of Barentz, Aileen Doyle, who's from Univar Solutions, and she's really engaged in the program, and you'll hear about her. And then Nicole Dominguez, who is an educator here in the Houston area, who works directly with CEF to help support the educational aspects of this to ensure that the materials that they're getting out to educators work and work for educators. So anyway, sit back, listen, and I hope you enjoy it. Hi, I'm here with Aileen Doyle from Univar Solutions. Univar is actually the title sponsor for the You Be the Chemist conference or contest. So I'm glad to have a chance to talk with her. So Aileen, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. So tell me, how did you personally get involved with You Be the Chemist and the Chemical Education Foundation?
That's a great question. And I have 2 teenage boys. They're teenagers now. But when they were younger, my oldest had expressed an interest in science and chemistry, and I was looking for a outside school, something for him to engage in, to help with that love of chemistry and that exploration of science and the curiosity. And so I stumbled upon CEF, but at the same time I recognized that Univar Solutions was a partner. And so I started talking internally about the fact that we were partnering, but we really didn't have a whole lot of knowledge internally as well as externally.
Yeah.
And so in talking with David Dukes, our CEO,
Yeah.
he said, you know what, we want to do more. We just haven't figured out how to do it. And I said, I know how to do it.
Hi, I'm here with Nicole Dominguez, who is a CEF certified instructor. Nicole, thanks for talking with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about your role as an instructor. What does that mean?
Sure. So my students have participated in the challenge for the last 10 plus years. I actually had one student that made it to nationals and placed second in the national
awesome.
challenge. Yeah, and that was on the old format. And so it's been really fun as a teacher to see the evolution of the challenge and how it's now a team event where students are collaborating and solving real world problems and not just like a quiz bowl question answer thing.
Interesting. So how did you get involved in CEF to begin with?
So I started first with a friend who told me about the challenge, and I started competing in the challenge. Went to my first couple of competitions and realized that there were these industry sponsors out there who believed in educators and appreciated the things that we did, and that was magical to me. So
Awesome.
all these careers that I've been teaching my students about, they really are real careers, and they care about not just educators but also the students. And so I wanted to become more involved, and CEF does a certified instructor program where they train teachers to do essential element workshops where they introduce the activity guides to other instructors.
So basically a train the trainer.
Correct.
Awesome.
Correct. So that's how I got more involved with CEF.
I am here with Calvin Emanuel from Ecolab. Calvin, thanks for joining us today. And I know you've already been on the Chemical Show podcast, so people know who you are. But tell us a little bit about why you are part of the Chemical Education Foundation and You Be the Chemist.
Thank you. Thank you for that great question. So I'm a part of CEF, and I've been serving as a board member for the past 5 years. But the reason I joined is because CEF's primary mission is focused on STEM and STEM education and helping educators become better at teaching STEM. And when I look at my own personal journey, the only reason I'm here today in the chemical industry is because of a teacher. My 10th grade instructor, Mr. Fletcher Williams, inspired me to become interested in chemistry, and that led me to where I am here today. And it was that love and passion for chemistry that got me started at an early age. And here I am today in the chemical industry after 20 plus years.
That's awesome. And how long have you actually been involved with CEF? How did you find CEF and You Be the Chemist?
So I was working for Shell Chemical at that point in time, and while I was there, I was leading the solvents business. And the solvents business played a big role within the NACD organization, and I then got tied to CEF via NACD.
I am here with Terry Hill, who is the CEO of Barentz. Terry is a longtime supporter of the Chemical Education Foundation. So, Terry, thanks for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome.
Absolutely. So, Terry, talk about the importance of chemistry and chemistry education.
You know, I think for me personally, I think it's so important that we sort of rebrand chemicals. I mean, if you hear chemicals in the news, you think, oh, that's terrible. But if you say chemistry, then people go, oh, that might be pretty good.
Oh,
or
interesting.
ingredients, right? So one of the things I think we're lacking is education, and that really starts at a young age. And one of the reasons I really have been personally a supporter of the Chemical Education Foundation as well as Barentz is that what we see is you need to introduce chemistry to kids at an early age. A lot of times they don't have a chemistry class until they're in high school. And a lot of times that's a little bit late for them to really be passionate about a subject. So what the CEF does is really get people introduced to chemistry at a very early age, grade school to middle school, and then that really what we've seen propels them into a passion around chemistry. And one of the things I always think about is when people tell me, what industry are you in? I like to say I'm in the length and quality of life industry.
That is an awesome answer.
Because that's what chemistry does. Everywhere you look, whether it's clean food, water, utilities, maintenance, and then obviously through COVID, we saw the need for sanitation, and the vaccines. So that was all from chemistry.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. As I reflect, even as we hold the microphone, as we do the recording on a phone and on a camera and a light,
Right.
there are chemical products all over that people maybe don't realize, right? So
Right.
you're right. It's the old tagline of better living through chemistry. I have always loved and believed that.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah. What would you tell other people about getting involved?
Look, I think getting involved is important. CEF actually makes a difference in kids' lives. You know, there's 3 primary things they focus on. They help provide teachers with educational packets to help them teach chemistry better, teach science better in the classroom. They also give hands-on tools that the kids can use at home so that they can get excited about chemistry at home. And then we also have the National You Be the Chemist Competition, which is a chance for children to come here, compete and learn and meet other students as well in chemistry space.
What have your students learned from this?
My students have learned a lot, and I will say since the pandemic, this new challenge format is instrumental in getting kids back working together. So
No kidding.
The 2 years that they kind of spent isolated, I think we saw a huge difference in the way that students interact with their peers at school. And so having this challenge is kind of a catapult to get them back into what is your role in a team? How do you work with others? What do you do when you have a disagreement or you're not all on the same page? For me, that was probably more interesting than the science that they learned, because these are soft
Interesting.
skills that these
Yes.
kids are going to need no matter what profession they end up in.
Yeah, it's great for the chemical industry, but you're right, it's great for all kinds of other professions. How have you seen the whole education aspect playing out for your company or even like for your family personally?
Well,
What
I
do you
think,
see?
I think for us, for me personally, one of the reasons for me, I was the first generation to graduate from college, and I happened to have a chemistry and a microbiology degree. And I didn't realize, growing up in rural Texas, what the opportunities were.
No.
And now through the industry of chemistry, I've seen really the world, and I've got to see how things are made, kind of like what you talk about, is how chemicals play a role in almost every aspect of our lives, from the time we wake up to go to sleep and the mattress we sleep on.
Absolutely.
So those are the things that, from a personal standpoint, that I've seen. And then, again, a little bit more personal, in 2012, my wife was diagnosed with lymphoma. And so she went into remission through chemotherapy, again, seeing that word chemicals.
Yep.
And I think about that, what inspired some researcher, some doctor early on that had a passion for science ended up saving my wife's life.
Yeah, that's
and so
awesome.
this next generation, who knows what innovation, what discoveries they can make, again, to improve our length and quality of life.
Tell me about what Univar does with CEF and You Be the Chemist.
Okay, so we've been a supporter partner for over 10 years, and we have continued to increase our volunteerism and our commitment through community partnerships. And this year, I'm really proud to say that we were the sponsor for the scholarships and the entire event. So we have been a very hands-on sponsor, in so much as we participated in reviewing the videos. We had over 20 Univar Solutions folks review 1,600 hours of video. So
that's
we got
big.
to see firsthand the curiosity and the talents of these young students and how they collaborate across the teams. Really reminds me of how we collaborate internally to create solutions for our customers. So it kind of brings it home, and it also reinforces why we should be making the commitment, because we're developing the workforce of the future.
Absolutely.
And that's so exciting, because I don't even know where they will land, but I hope that they find their way to our industry.
Absolutely, I hope so as well, and I appreciate that aspect of it. Are you a chemist by chance? What's your background?
No, I am not a chemist. I'm a marketing person or a business person.
But you got to the chemical industry as fast as you could?
Exactly. I was like, sign me up. I've always had a sense of curiosity, and I'm enthusiastic. And so when I started learning chemistry, through my first commercial job, which was a customer service rep. And that informed me to the extent that I was talking to customers and they were telling me about their business, and then I was relating what chemistry they used to other customers in that particular industry. And then it's like connecting dots.
Yes.
It's like, well, if you use this for this, what else do you use? And so my curiosity and natural interest just grew and grew. So I think that what I see in the students that are at the challenge, as well as those that have participated thus far, is that sense of curiosity, a sense of passion, that interest, is characteristics that they can build upon, that can take them anywhere. And if someone from a marketing and business background can leverage those things and have a successful career in chemical industry, I think that these kids, these students, are really bound for great things.
What kind of projects or problems are these students solving?
Right. So each year the challenge has a different problem. So last year it was sustainability and this year was space. So it's taking all of the core chemistry concepts that they learn and how would you apply that to solve a real world problem. And so this year the kids' focus was on space, which just happened coincidentally be the first year that y'all are here in Houston.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that was kind of really, really nice. It was incredible to see the students and the connections that they made, not just with particles of matter and states of matter, and how they would apply that into future space exploration and different phenomena within outer space.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I don't know if you would know the answer to this, but how do the students play out demographically? Does this target students across a demographic spectrum? Do you see more students that are coming from maybe, let's just say, need-based environments or schools?
I see it a lot more now with the new challenge format.
Okay.
So before, when it was more just quiz bowl style, I kind of saw the same kinds of kids, right? You've got your higher achieving, more parental support type students were the ones that were typically always involved. Now that it's team-based and there's a video creation portion, I'm seeing more of my introverts who like, the arts and graphic design. Those are my students now that are starting to come out, because when you're working together as a team, you really just need a few people who are strong in the academics, but you also need the people who are strong in the creative process.
Got it. That makes sense. What do you tell others that want to know more about the program? What do you tell teachers about the program, since you're a teacher yourself?
Right. So I always try to encourage teachers to get started with the challenge first. So I think the challenge was kind of the thing that hooked me. Once you see this program and the way that it's all developed using the industry sponsors to kind of catapult the whole entire program, and the support that's provided there is really encouraging for teachers. If they're not able to participate in the challenge, then I always push the activity guides. So CEF has more than 50 activity guides. It's free completely for teachers, and it's all hands-on experiments that introduce a lot of the chemistry concepts. And the best thing about it is it uses at-home materials you can buy just at the regular grocery store, and they're experiments you can do anywhere, not just in a science classroom. So if it's a club or if it's an elementary school that maybe doesn't have science labs, you can still participate in these activities in that setting.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And I appreciate you joining us here today and explaining more about what you do and why you're so engaged with CEF. So thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. I hope you were inspired and encouraged by your peers in the chemical industry and how these guys have gotten involved with CEF and You Be the Chemist. If you want to learn more and to get involved, go ahead and visit chemed.org. So CHEMED.org. I'm also going to have it linked in the show notes, and you can learn more about CEF, the You Be the Chemist competition, and how you can get involved. Thanks, and I'll talk to you again soon.
We've come to the end of today's podcast. We hope you enjoyed your time with us and want to learn more. Simply visit thechemicalshow.com for additional information and helpful resources. Join us again next time here on The Chemical Show with Victoria Meyer.